show got canceled, and where the hell were you for Turning Point USA? What? I didn't even know about this.
So as comedians, we have the pleasure of going around the country and making people laugh. Sometimes it's comedy clubs, cruise ships, private events, and this was a college gig. Turning Point USA was putting on a college comedy night, and Turning Point is a group that speaks for love of country, love of the Constitution, and freedom of speech. So we're not exactly these far-right radicals. We're actually just inviting everyone to come watch. It's not compulsory to graduate to come to my comedy show.
Yeah.
It's just something fun. So I land in Connecticut. Turning Point USA is putting on the event, and I get a call from the representative. The administrator at UConn has canceled your show. I go, I just bought the flight. I landed here. I got my crew here. I got my baggage. No. And so we get the lady on the phone, and we actually kind of confronted her. She said because of the safety of the students, she couldn't have a comedy show.
Oh, God.
And that's what they're doing. They're hiding behind safety. I have a little video of just kind of a little mini documentary. We'll watch it real quick if it'll play. Here we go. USA, we flew all the way to Connecticut. We're in the rain, and they canceled our show last minute. So we're going to find out what's going on. We're going to go confront the lady who canceled our show. Yeah. We're here to do the comedy show tonight.
Yes, Jess is going to find you a different venue.
Okay, but we're just trying to figure out, we already did the advertisements. We flew up from halfway across the country, and didn't they do a contract?
They did, but the contract is null and void at this point.
How did it get null and void? We do these things ahead of time. I spent thousands of dollars on my crew, my flights, my hotel rooms, everything.
I'm sorry, where did you fly in from?
I flew in from Florida.
Okay, well, Jess said that she could find you another spot.
What'd she say?
She said, Jess said she can find you another spot. So the whole thing of it is she says, you're too dangerous. I can't ensure the safety of the students in this building.
What that? Did you have a gun on you?
Nothing.
What the hell is she
All
talking?
I have are funny jokes, you know?
my
And so
God.
she said,
Your words are dangerous.
Wasn't worried about the gun, but she was afraid you had a bomb.
Yeah,
She was afraid.
exactly.
And you walked up to her office, and she had left early that day for a family emergency, but we had a phone call for 30 minutes. So we go up to her office, and there's the gay flag, there's the trans flag. There was no American flag anywhere.
Oh, she's okay.
And they're pushing this, and she said that you're too dangerous. We can't ensure the safety. Nothing against you, but your contract is null and void. What's the point of having a contract for a comedy night if when you land, they take it away? And then she went on to say, you can go find another building on campus and do it, just not here. If I'm too dangerous for your building, why would you want me anywhere else? If there's a crazy shooter, I'm not going to be like, you can't come in this building, but go down to building business
Did they pay?
administration.
Kvon, what happened with the contract? With
So
the
that's
money?
why I paired up with Turning Point in the beginning, because this was happening to me by myself, just going to shows. Some radical at the school will go through your social media and see one thing you tweeted from 4 years ago, 10 years ago, it doesn't matter, 20 years ago, and say, oh, Vinny can't come to our campus because he made this joke.
About the trans something.
And so I paired up with TPUSA, kind of like joining a gang. You go to, like if you go to prison, naturally Rob would have to become a skinhead. He doesn't want to,
Yeah,
but that's
he
just
sees-
and you're
sees
going to join the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And so I joined TPUSA. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was a big pain.
Any money?
Nobody cares. There was no money for me.
You know
for
what's
Mr.
interesting?
Trump.
The people that end up making all that noise and go and do the investigative work are normally not the people who end up even having any intention to go to the show.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just doing it to virtue signal. So they're ruining a time for other people that they had no intention of going to in the first place just to be dicks.
Just to
That's
be a
it.
dick.
Just to be
That's
a dick.
all it is.
Yeah, it's like so much harder to build a sandcastle than to come and stomp on one. And that's what they do. They stomp. Now, here's the interesting thing. I had already performed there a few years ago. I had no incidents at UConn. And I told the lady that. She goes, you've performed here? And it's in their school newspaper. And so I'm like, yeah, why don't you do some research? You want to cancel me so quick?
Well, that's their default answer now, right? So comedy is a threat to people's safety, and Riley Gaines and her mission is a threat to people's safety.
Exactly.
They continue to cancel people as soon as they see them as a threat in any form or fashion. That's the default. We'll go to that, and you can't fight it at this point, right?
But you can support Hamas. You could. I guarantee you.
Oh,
you could
for
have
sure.
a Hamas
Bumper
support
sticker.
terrorism. What do you mean?
From the river
Parade.
to the sea. Let's
Kill
go,
river
everybody.
to the sea. Let's kill all the Jewish people, and they'd be like, "Yes,
right.
yes." You can't do a comedy show.
Go have a
Kayvon,
discussion on
he'd
abortion.
really have to ramp up
Yeah.
the Persian part in order to stay safe
no.
during that.
I'm also half Persian, but because I, perceived as just a regular white guy, all the
black.
same crap comes at me.
But what you said, it is a suppression of speech, because I really feel like the arts are the last form of free speech that there is, with the exception of certain social media platforms, Twitter,
Totally.
Getter, Truth Social. I don't
Yeah.
know if anybody's even on the other two, but on Twitter, right now, Twitter is a free speech platform. People
It's
are,
called X, Robert.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has even been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize from the Norwegian Parliament. stand-up comedy is the same way. And so when they feel that there is a threat, what do? They try and silence that threat. So that is why there's this pushback on the arts and stand-up comedy, because it is it's one of the last forms
And
of
think about what the arts are, because like you guys are comedians. I got a liberal arts degree studying English and history and that kind of stuff.
liberal.
Exactly. I was like the only conservative in my liberal arts program.
Were you in the closet?
Yeah.
Like, were you like
Oh, no,
in the back? Like
I was
like
taking
Trump.
classes with liberal lesbian feminist professors during the 2016 election.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, I'm gonna just keep my thoughts to myself
Oh
here.
my God.
Yeah.
But the people you run into when you're in the arts, it's very liberal. Like
You think so?
your artists, your poets, your writers, they're all uber libs.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, good art is right wing.
Yeah.
Where the people who made beautiful things and wrote beautiful things and were able to accomplish great things in arts were doing it for the love of country, for the love of God, for all these things throughout history. And once the arts went liberal, they stopped innovating. Look at the guy who had no formal training and carved the greatest sculpture of all time, compared to somebody who went to art school for 15 years, and it's just like a couple water balloons stapled to a chair. And it's like, it's a deconstructive art piece.
Yeah.
No, it's just garbage.
And this is why when you get to that point where they're coming for your neck like that, like Kvon, like the Rileys, wear that as a badge of honor, man. Like you said, if you're over the target, they're going to come for you. But you got to, when you're there, keep pushing. Man.
Hell
Don't
yeah.
stop.
I think that
Just keep
motivates
going.
me to go more. Like, bro,
100%.
I'm waiting. And I'm sorry you had to go through it, Kvon. And you helped your cool. I would have been freaking screaming. I would have fucking called the news. I would have gotten naked and be like, I'm gay and they're just doing this because I would have caused the biggest scene at UConn. I would have called
That's
them
what you should.
racist.
Yes.
You should have said I'm racist. You guys are racist because I'm Middle Eastern. I self-identified today as a trans woman. I would have burned that bitch down in the sense of like, I would have been news. I would have been headline news at UConn.
Well, I like what you said about that. I wrote something for VT.com, which is going on there today. That clip I showed you is actually part of a 10-minute clip. Yeah. It got picked up by 2 other news sources. And when I was picking stories for unusuals, I'm like, well, this is a personal story. Is it really a big deal or not? I think it's actually a huge deal because comedians are the tip of the spear. If it starts happening to us, it's going to get worse. The ACLU, which I'm going to show you right now, they say, oh, we're all for free speech. The First Amendment gives the right for speech that even people find distasteful or they don't like or they don't want to hear, as long as it doesn't bring people to violence. My comedy show does not bring people to violence at all. UConn is one of the biggest recipients of state funds and federal funds in all of Connecticut. They have to abide by the First Amendment. So there is a lawsuit here. I don't know who's going to help me.
Somebody, whoever's out there, lawyer up. Get to Kvon.
Yeah.
Viva Fry.
Oh, Viva.
We know an attorney.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Viva, where are you? He's supposed to be here today.
Yeah.
Another thing that bothers me a lot about it is that's why I joined Valuetainment. That's why I joined Turning Point, because like-minded people need to come together and stick together. This is happening to bigger names than me, but we're all in the same boat together. I want to show you Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro goes on campuses just to speak, Orthodox Jew with a family of 5, I believe, and look what they do. No bigotry, so they hide behind bigotry. You look next, Charlie Kirk. Oh, well, he can't speak. He's a racist. Charlie Kirk is racist against black people. Well, Charlie Kirk's number one friend and hired employee is Candace Owens. She's next. They come for her too. Well, she's also racist against black people. Oh, really? And she's a fascist. And then finally, just like you were saying, Mano, we got Riley Gaines, who she's just a woman who wants her trophies for being the best female swimmer she wants her medals. She wants her time. She wants to be recognized on ESPN. They won't, because this new thing where she's hateful, she's anti-trans because a guy who recently became a girl can beat her in the swimming.
Well, he didn't even beat her, though. They tied.
Yeah,
they had the
they
same exact time,
yeah.
and they awarded the trophy
Tie
to
goes
Lee
to the
Thomas.
ding.
And you know why they did?
What's
You
a
know
photo
why
op?
they did? Because they said, because he was on Rogan, they said, hey, listen, we get it. You should be the one. You deserve it. But guess what? Our directive, we got to give it to
That's a photo
him,
op.
shim,
Yeah.
she.
Well, they say tie goes to the wiener.
Oh, the wiener gets it, Chris. What are you going to say?
Well, look, at any other time, how crazy would it be where Candace is a white supremacist
Right.
and Ben Shapiro is
He's
an
a Nazi.
anti-Semite?
He's a Nazi.
Like, in any other time, we would look at this ridiculousness and it wouldn't last for 2 seconds. And now,
Right.
Part of the problem is, and we've talked about this before, the minority The minority is what is making the most noise, the vocal minority. So we pay attention to what's making the most noise rather than what makes the most sense. You look at Jim Florentine. There was a group of comedians. Jim Florentine. Who else was with
Louis
Gomez. There was a group of them. Four guys.
Dave Smith? Was he in there?
Dave Smith. Yes, they were all scheduled to perform at a comedy club in Portland. And the comedy club decided after booking them, which you guys know, right? You're stand-up comedians. You book a date, you hold that. That means other clubs may reach out to you. You're committed. You've signed a contract. You're ready to go. So you're this weekend. You're going to be in Portland, and you turn down other work when it comes your way because you already have that scheduled. They go and they canceled those dates because the comedians jokes did not align with the community's guidelines and values.
Right.
The club reached out to them to book them, then cancels them. Why? Because they're conservative comedians who like to make jokes.
Yeah, but that just goes to show you that the one side is in control. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that there's and thing that they do is they keep hiding behind safety, but we've never caused a safety issue. It's always them, but they want to put in things. So they have a $4 million worth of budget to hire security for guys like Milo Yiannopoulos, Ben Shapiro, and of course Candace Owens. They spent $4 million on security, and they make them pay for it. They make Turning Point USA, or they make one of these groups pay for it. So we need to fix this, and the only state taking it seriously is Florida. Florida has a new directive where they're putting a oversight inviting speakers on colleges, meaning that if you invite 2 Dylan Mulvaney's, you got to at least have 1 or 2 Kvon Moeses and Vinny Oshana's that come in.
Yeah.
That way there's a balance. And of course, our governor went ahead and supported that. So it seems like there might be a way of other states kind of follow through with this, but that's what needs to happen. It needs to be like colleges are where fair and balanced speech can happen, and comedy shows from the left and the right can coexist.
And great point. You know what it is too, which nobody really talks about? Hey, if you don't want to go see Kvon, don't go see him. Keep your ass in your dorm room. Get some lotion. Do what you normally do. Like
Wear your mask. Go get vaccinated and not enjoy life.
Yeah, go get your 5th booster, because people are making it like people are forcing you to go watch the comedy show. Like when people go, I can't believe this podcast is saying this. Don't watch it. Go do something else. Leave us the F alone to do our own shit. But that's before I lose.
Let me put a cherry on top of this.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church on campus across the street invited us in to do our show. So we actually got our show accomplished.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't easy. And the pastor or the priest was just like, just don't use the Lord's name in vain, and please don't curse.
I can't imagine.